of our conference on the transformative role of artificial intelligence in business and society. As we embark on another day of exploration and discovery, let's move deeper into the significant impact of AI that is having on our world. Day one of the conference, we had six eminent speakers who shared their valuable insights on AI in environment, economics, education, entertainment, and e-governance. Today, we will uncover new insights, engage in thought-provoking discussions, and foster collaborations that will shape our future. With immense pleasure, I extend a warm welcome to our distinguished alumni speaker, Mr. Mahesh Harindranath, who will enlighten us further on the transformative role of AI in business and society. Mr. Mahesh currently is working as an account manager at Zurich International Life Limited, UAE. He started his career in financial sector from ICICI Prudential in Kerala. He is experienced in wealth and channel management across various banks and insurance companies across India, Bahrain, and UAE. To name a few, as a wealth specialist with the Standard Chartered Bank, Senior Regional Sales Manager at Dhanlakshmi Bank Limited, Client Relationship Manager at National Bank of Fujairah and RAC Bank. His expertise and insights promise to illuminate our discussions and broaden our understanding of this rapidly changing landscape. Let's embrace this opportunity with enthusiasm and open minds as we dive deeper into AI's impact. Without further ado, I invite Mr. Mahesh Harindranath to share his wisdom and perspective with us. Sir, please.
To all of you, I hope I'm audible. Um, I'm really thrilled to be here to present to you guys, especially to a crowd which belongs to my own institution. It's a really proud moment for me to actually present in front of my faculties also, who have actually given us guidance and support throughout. And I just want to take this opportunity to actually thank our faculty members also for all the support they have given. Because in our career, we have faced several challenges, and the input which those people have actually given us has been tremendously helpful. My faculty in charge was Matthew sir, and we share. I mean, the entire batch actually shares a very personal connection because we were really pestering him for all the things. But let me thank you for that, for this opportunity. And again, welcome to the session. I'll just dive into the session right now directly. I'll share. Can you just enable the screen sharing for me, please? The screen sharing has been disabled for. I mean, host has to actually enable it for me. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. We can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Guys, I don't want this to be a very boring session. I know there is a lot of data which we are actually going to talk about. But what I suggest is that please feel free in terms of checking out what are the questions you may be having in mind. To my best ability, I'll try to answer. And it need not be specific to this particular topic even. The difference before getting into the session, I just want to actually talk a little bit about what exactly are we doing over here. It is not only about giving you insights or exposure to a specific segment of industry. It is also about the experience which people have actually garnered over a period of a number of years, right? So definitely, I hope that you will make use of that. Um, the topic today is basically the transformative role of artificial intelligence in business and society. It's specific to, even though it's known as we are talking about the area of economics. What I will be touching upon is the area where it's pertaining to the financial markets predominantly. Why? That's the first question, right? Why financial markets? Why economics? Not only because we are all MBA We are all MBA graduates, and we are going to be actually managing different profiles. It is also about the weightage India as a country is having towards financial sector, right? In terms of if you look at any of the indexes across the world, you can see financial sector is actually contributing a big percentage to the entire indices, right? Okay, so now first question is that what exactly is AI and like no how important it is. So the importance of any industry or any particular technology or any event is it can be measured by the time in which it has been actually in the news, right? So 2023 was the year of AI. If you have followed news, you will be seeing that every month there is something or the other happening in that sector. Okay, so basically it starts from Jan to December. You can see a lot of multi-billion dollars of investments, acquisitions, regulators pouncing on those companies. Regulatory aspects is a very important thing going forward. I mean, it is going to be really controlling. Again, impact on the job markets because we are more interested in that, right? In terms of setting up my career, how it will be actually, and that is why we should be actually keeping a watch on this particular space. So you can see from Jan to December, there have been multiple different events which is happening in that particular artificial intelligence, specifically to the artificial intelligence sector of technology. Now, the rise of AI, I mean, before we see what is today, we have to actually see how it has been actually been evolved, right? So, what is artificial intelligence? The first thing when we actually talk about artificial intelligence is, I'm sure you would have seen the movies Terminator, the long time back, the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator, Star Treks and Star Wars movies. You can see that even at a very early age also in the all the science fiction novels and all, we have been very fascinated by this technology wherein you are actually creating a machine which can actually think like a human. And this is something which is which has been been actually been put forward into the society by various thinkers and writers. So obviously, it has become reality at a later point in time. So the AI is basically nothing but a simulation of human intelligence in a machine, in a very simple term. Yeah, there are how are they going to actually do that? They are going to program it with algorithms. They're going to actually, so some person is going to sit down and think that okay, I have a particular task, and what are the complexities that can be involved in that task. If I'm a human, I will learn with my experience, right? I will learn from others. I will actually try to collect as much data from others and actually and chart my course. The same thing what it is actually done in a very artificial or a very controlled environment. 1950 is the time wherein this has actually started. To tell you the story, I mean, I'm sure you guys are all movie buffs. Mr. Alan Turing, who is supposed to be a brilliant mathematician, a computer scientist, he is also called as the father of the modern computer science. He, in his book, there was a book which is called Computer Machinery and Intelligence. So he have actually put forward a test to actually test the machine intelligence. It is called the Imitation Game. There was a movie also on that name. And this guy is a person who have cracked the German Enigma code during the World War II. Yeah, it's a good movie to actually watch. But he started off like no, he have actually envisaged this type of a way forward for machines. Again, in 1952, Arthur Samuel, who is another computer scientist, um, he have actually developed a checkers machine which actually plays checkers by its own. So that's the first machine to actually self-learn, right? And today, if you from there to actually today, if you look at AI is knowingly or unknowingly is part of your daily life. Its presence is there in, let's say, example, sending a rocket into the space to checking out what's the time right now. Hey Siri, what's the time right now, right? So you have personal assistants in your mobile. You have you have multiple uh, AI enabled devices which we actually made. It is also like no, you have customized when you go into a travel website. They are actually giving you the suggestions based on the input which you are actually giving. So in terms of AI's core functioning, data is of prominent importance. You have to input data, or you have to actually give data for it to consume and actually make decisions. And as human beings, as managers, as individual people, we also do that on a minute by minute basis, right? When we actually standing on the side of a road, we will decide whether to cross right now or not. That is a decision making. You are actually analyzing the environment. You are actually taking a call at that point in time. As simple as that. It is actually second. Like no, it is like you are not putting any effort into that. It is like second to us, right? But machines has to be like programmed to actually do that, and there is a limitation to the programming, and that is why AI is more going to be more disruptive in nature comparing to any other technology, because it is going to self learn, it is going to actually analyze, it is going to actually bank on the experience of its own as well as from the other parties involved or other factors involved. Now, coming back to the reason why it is required. Now, question is that comfort, ease, and all is there, but we are also talking about why. The objective is to actually make correct decisions, and correct decisions have long-term implications. It can be anything. You have decided to join a course which is going to set on a path which are for a successful career, right? That is why that is a decision made by you, right? And that implication, your entire life will reflect the implication of that particular decision. Similarly, in business, in any part of job, like no roles which you are actually going to do further. Maybe you are a businessman. Maybe you are going to get into a job. Maybe you are going to start do a startup. Anything which you are going to get into, decision making will be key, and the further results will be actually an outcome of the decision which you have made. And correct decision is the most important thing. You have data, you have to analyze it, and we always do that, and that is where AI comes into picture. Now, coming back to the number of adaptation of AI technology into their mainstream. If you look at the top five AI nations, is US, China, UK, Japan, and Germany. They have more involvement, or they have actually imbibed their systems with more AI related technologies than comparing to the other countries. India is at the 15th position. We are going to be there. But the best thing is that we are the second fastest growing talent pool in the world in terms of AI is concerned. And that is true for most of the parameters, right? Most of the industries, if you look at. India has always been known for their human capital, and we are not different over here also. Now, coming to the next slide, we have talked about how it has actually emerged. Now we'll also look into the landscape. So we say AI, it is not just a simple word. It has actually has multiple sectors which you can actually deep dive, and that itself is a huge world. What we actually consume, or the we benefit from this particular technology is a combination of all this. You talk about cybersecurity, AI is present, because the kind of data, the kind of complexities which is there in the world today is multifold. You don't know what is going to happen. So you have to be present, that a human person or a human being, a person cannot be actually vigilant so well 24 bar 7, right? So you talk about robotic personal assistants, surgical robots, pattern recording, chatbots, machine learning, autonomous systems, deep learning. All these things are all subsections of this landscape, wherein each one of is actually its own a huge world. And depending on the requirement, depending on the kind of application which you are looking at, this or multiple modes are there. We are not going to be technical over here. Our objective is to actually find out what its implication in terms of global economy, and finally to us individually, right? And that is what we are more interested in. So how is it going to be actually helping me or not helping me? This is what the ultimate question. So let's get into that now. Global economy, this chart will give you a perception. I have specifically didn't want to actually do any much more charts, but I want to take your attention over here. You know that India has become the fifth largest economy in the world. We have surpassed UK, right? But this chart gives you more perception. Out of 105 trillion US dollars is the global economy. US, China, Japan, Germany, and India. Those are the five. and obviously UK, Russia, France, Canada is also sharing a bigger chunk of the pie. So what it means is that around 5 to 6 countries in the world is actually is contributing to nearly 50% of the global GDP. Whatever is getting produced in the world is actually done by these 5 or 6 countries, which also means two things. Which also means that one, you can expect a lot of implementation of technologies, technologies by these particular countries especially. I know that this particular chart is having multiple, whether they are part of the developed world, they are also part of the developing world. But irrespective of that segregation, you can see that this is getting implemented faster, right? Uh, so just now this is a slide wherein you have a lot of data which is there, but I just want to touch upon this because this is very important in terms of projecting AI's role in the global economy, and how global economy is related to each one of us who is sitting in Changnasheri, in any of the places for that matter, is that it has implications in terms of whatever we consume, whatever we are actually going to earn. So Accenture, you are all familiar with Accenture, right? They have done a research on 12 developing economies. What they say is that by 2035, the adaptation of AI can actually double the global economic rates. Today, when you actually talk about global economic rates, it is affected by various factors. It is affected by the geopolitical tensions. It is affected by everything which is happening in the market. It is not a there is no sense in the market currently, right? But having said that, we always judge the countries in terms of how well they fared on a particular year based on the economic growth. And in India, we are actually poised for growth for next 10 years. They say that there is no stoppage for India.
Original guideline chigamal.
Yeah.
TAK.
And sorry.
But original thang matram.
Okay. Now AI will drive how is this doubling of economic growth rate is going to happen? One is strong increase in labor productivity. End of the day, if you have been actually producing 100 from a company, let's say example a manufacturing company is there, they're producing 100 units per day. If you can, and that is with a shift of 8 hours or a 10 hours of shift. If just imagine that how you can actually scale up by having 24/7 production without having that labor over there. So up to 40% of increase in labor productivity is been projected using innovative technologies. It is already there. Technology is already there. The only thing is that to think like humans. So what exactly is that the technology? All this technology is already there in these industries. The only thing which is actually missing is how to think and fast and make a decision like a human being. And AI being a machine, it doesn't have the restrictions of a human being. It will not fall sick. It will not take off, right? It will not have labor rights, by the way, right? So there are pluses and minuses in that, but end of the day, reality is that it is going to actually add productivity in a very, very strong way. So time management, work-related time management becomes easy. On the fair side, it can also create a very good work-life balance for the employees, wherein things are happening over there. I have to just oversee that. Second is it is also going to create a new virtual workforce. AI will create its own workforce. So which means that there is no more. I mean, it is called capable of intelligent automation, which means that there is no human involvement over there. A set of jobs will come into picture, which is going to be really being driven by these machines, which means that there will not be any employment opportunity also over there on the negative side. But this is going to be like no cutting cost, and this is going to be faster, smoother. And also because of this, it will create new revenue streams also. We have seen, just to take examples, we have seen technology disrupting the entire industry, right? Where we're talking about Uber, which has disrupted in terms of taxis, right? Taxi services across the world. You have so many examples. Oyo, you can just, and it is all backed up by the technological innovations. You talk about Zomato, you talk about any of those startups coming up right now. We are talking about banking on the technology and giving a better, comfortable life for their end consumers. So it is going to actually create new revenue streams. 20 years back, you couldn't even think about having a Uber kind of an app, right? A Zomato kind of an app. You cannot. So today you have apps for every single thing, and it is going to be bigger going forward. Just one more in terms of the numbers, I want to take your attention. Price Watercoopers, also you know this company. They say that around 14 percentage global GDP can be increased by 2030, which is 6 years down the line. That's not a small percentage; it's in a double-digit growth rate, is what we are talking about. Now, what I want to take your attention is the next one, the digital revolution. So artificial intelligence feed data, like no, they survive on data consumption. When I say data consumption, they want vast amount of data which cannot be comprehended by a single human being. You can actually relate to data because the pattern has to be emerged, right? So today, if you know, look at me and you, we are consuming data on a continuous basis for various purposes, right? We all are individual touch points as far as from a data perspective. So which means that the kind of so let's say example, if you go to my Google search, or like no or the kind of apps which is installed in my phone, you can actually tell what kind of a person I am, what are the things which I'm most interested in, right? So that is called the internet of people. Today it is internet of people, wherein we consume data, we give out that particular usage pattern to the person who's making a decision, right? If somebody is collecting all this data and actually, and that is exactly what the Meta, Google, and all those big companies are actually doing. They collect data, they try to find out what kind of customer base I'm having, what is the customer is interested in. At 8 o'clock in the morning, what this guy is actually doing. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, what this guy is actually looking at, right? Everything is actually like no coded, everything is actually already there in their position. That is the reason why when you actually go to Google and search for a, let's say example, a Bluetooth speaker, next 5 days, 10 days, 1 month, you will get ads popping up on your screen saying that, hey, this Bluetooth speaker, this one discounts, and even another financial institution saying that, okay, this is a high end thing. Why don't you take a loan even to actually do that? Right? This data is actually been uh, this data is actually been used for targeted marketing also. The usage doesn't stop there. It is also about finding about the interest of particular region. Let's say example, you belong to a particular region, a geography, and what kind of product should I be actually be launching? Data will help you. And digital revolution is going to happen not with, this is internet of people, with this much of data we are not able to do that. Now your in internet of thing is the next big thing which is happening. You already have those things in your with you. You have an, if you have an Alexa back home and it is connected to a, AC or a coffee machine, or maybe your lighting and heating and all those things, obviously that is connected, right? So today you are connecting through a device to your system, saying that, or you are giving command and saying that, okay, without restricting yourself to a one particular location. You can switch on your AC sitting at 20 kilometers away or even 200 kilometers away. You can actually control that. And now the next step is wherein these things are itself is going to actually communicate to a cloud, wherein your refrigerator will say that, okay, my stock is done, milk is gone, please, the refrigerator will order milk online. It is all linked. So you have multiple data points that will be multi-folds of what we are actually consuming. Whatever things which we are actually consuming, it will be multi-fold. So which means that what it means is that it is like having good now a good field for the cows to graze, right? It is like AI is on the race. AI wants more data to actually learn itself, and here it is. You have a humongous chunk of data available ready-made for you. Right? Standardization and automation will be the norm going forward. And also this helps to actually personalize products and services. When I say product personalization, you don't want to actually get hit by, let's say example, um, uh, a product which you're not interested in, right? But if you think about particular product and you are interested in that, you would like to know more about that. It is just like you when you are actually trying to purchase a car. I mean, if you have actually specified on the brand, then you will see that particular car and that particular brand more on the road, right? You have been traveling the same road for ages, you never noticed, but since your interest had been picked, that is why you are actually noticing. Same thing happens with AI also. So just to conclude on the PwC report, they say that productivity gains will be based on automation and routine tasks. And it is also assisting existing workforce with AI technologies. New tools will come into picture. If you look at the last 23 years, when I actually started my career, Microsoft Office was the something which you go and study. And that is the kind of time which we are actually talking about. You just join a course and there is a Microsoft Office package which has been actually given to you. Today, even a small kid knows how to actually operate those. We are talking about new tools and technology where which can actually help you in terms of doing your job better. Now coming to the final report from McKinsey, and this affects every single one of us. They're saying that at least 70% of the company will adopt at least one AI technology in their by 2030, and 2030 is not far away. We're talking about hardly 6 years down the line. 70%, if they don't have it today, by 2030, at least one technology will be adopted by them. They have to, because if they don't, they will fail in whatever area which they are actually operating. And at least half of the company will deploy it full range, which means that they will heavily invest in AI technology for increased productivity. Fair enough. Now coming to the financial sector, and this is wherein, like, no, it has been very relevant because unlike other industries, I'll compare a manufacturing sector and I'll compare that as far as finance. If a financial industry works on speed, right? And it really requires speed. You cannot delay any decisions, and the cost of delay can be, right, literally bankrupt the company. That is a kind of speed which you require in terms of implementing decisions. Also, by the way, right? So it helps obviously faster and more accurate decisions. AI will help you. Machine learning is very important over here. Machine learning is basically it is like making the system or learning algorithms where there's basically programs which actually crunch vast amount of data, and they identify patterns which people may miss. So when you have, let's say, example, you have five charts in front of you, and you say that in the last 5 years, 10 years, you have been, I mean, let's say about a productivity of a company, you can see that. But what about the productivity of the companies in your area, similar companies? Are you able to compare? Okay, you just went to the next level. Okay, let me compare the productivity of the companies in my area. What about the country? What about different areas in the world? What are they actually following? When you actually see that, let's say example, and that is where the learning comes into the picture. You want to increase your profit as a manager. You have to increase your profit. I'm just giving a very layman kind of an example, and you are operating in let's say example in a manufacturing sector. There is a similar company in US, there is a similar company in Brazil, which is actually doing the same way. So you compare all the parameters. You say that their working environment and my working environment is the same only, but they are making much more profit than me. Why? Is it a difference of the market? And that is a kind of decision. But as a human being individually, first and foremost, I don't have access to all those data. First and foremost, second is that even if I have that data, I will have that capacity to actually crunch that data and find a pattern over there. And machine learning will help you actually do that. Basically, financial institution uses this to predict market trends, like how the market is going to be there, right? You can switch on the TV, you take out any of the channels, they will predict how the market is actually going. You have pundits sitting over there and actually telling you from all these technologies. You also look at fraud. Fraud is a very big thing. There is trillions of dollars which is actually getting lost because of fraud. To identify that, maybe a person can actually miss that, and also to make more informed investment decisions by the company, by the individuals. So that is where machine learning will come into picture. Customer service and finance industry, AI is fully integrated into that. Even you yourself would have actually been using that right now. You go to any of the bank's website today, you have chatbots over there, right? And let's say example, you have been sitting at home at your comfort of your home, maybe at 8 o'clock in the night, and you say that I would like to actually open a savings account, and you want to open the account in let's say example in India or in Kerala, let's say example, and you're sitting maybe in US, you want to open that, you can. Yes, you can. You don't have to wait till the branch getting opened in the morning and go to a branch physically and present yourself and do the stuff by paper. You can actually just log into any of the bank's website. There is a chatbot available. You just tell them all the normal questions are already there programmed into that chatbot, and you just click on the questions. What is the question? You can even type it. They are actually well versed with translating that language and whatever questions you are asking into a question which is sensible for the bank per se, and you can actually do that. So, which means that this is taking away a lot of effort required to actually get that service. And I'm just telling bank as an example. Zurich, with the company which I work, we have already employed like last 4, 5 years, 6 years, we have been employing these technologies. We have seen positives and negatives based on that. We will be discussing that in the coming slides. But we also have a chatbot called Alia. You go to Zurich website, you actually put in your question, they will direct you to the concerned people. If the solution is not been derived at that point in time, they will actually give you a reference number or a contact person at that point in time itself, or somebody will contact you for the questions or the queries which you have raised. So which means that this has actually taken away the human. Just imagine a 24/7 customer service operation, how much cost it will be versus a chatbot, which is actually an AI-enabled chatbot, which is going to actually give you all the solutions then and there itself. And that is the ease which we are actually doing. It increases customer satisfaction, reduces cost of employing human capital over there. The reducing cost is also a profit, by the way. So companies are looking at being more profitable, more nimble, more faster, more adaptive, and reducing cost is a key concern for all the companies, right? Now, next is insurance pricing. We will discuss it. This has been in a little bit detailed fashion in the coming slide also. But I just want to touch upon. So there is a element of generative AI. So what is generative AI? Is basically the technology that can produce various types of data. For example, generative AI example is Chat GPT. I'm sure you guys would have used one of its versions by this time. It can actually create text. It can create content. You ask a question, it will search and find out the solution for you, right? And it can be audio, it can be image, it can be synthetic data, anything. And generative AI is the technology which is used in insurance pricing, because when you're actually talking about analyzing risk, it is a statistical table, right? And it requires a lot of insight to be an actuary, and AI is actually doing that job really, really well. Coming back to the obviously the data analytics, performance measurement, and all those things are the main objective of AI in financial sector. Automation in banking activities. Automation in banking activities, you can see that you can do transfers. Sitting at right now, sitting in SB College, you can actually open your mobile, open the app, you can do the transfer immediately. Is that just the technology? Yes, it is just the technology. But going forward, what happens is that you can have intuitive technology coming over there wherein it is going to actually nudge you in the right direction. Do you want to do that? Do you think that this is good? Can I transfer this money at this point in time? It is going to give you so much of information. Payments, deposits, transfers, customer service, everything is taken care. A lot of technological implementation has been done in financial sector. Again, application for loans, even for applications in for insurance, you can actually sit at the comfort of your home or your office. You can actually input, and immediately you get an instant result, and that is something which is very much required. You apply for a credit card, it is cleared instantaneously. You apply for a loan, you enter the details, you give it, it is cleared immediately, right? So near instant responses is going to be, so which means that you're saving a lot of time in terms of you have taken a call, you have taken a decision, you get the result immediately by the use of these technologies. Now coming back to sorry, yeah. Okay. So coming back to the roles, like no, so these are like how it is helping financial sector. So what the previous slide was about, how AI is actually transforming the entire scenario over there, and how it is actually impacting us as end consumers and as managers. Now, what is their role as why it has been put in? First and foremost is basically time is money in financial market. Time is money in any place, but if you actually neglect risk involved, the cost is huge. It can really bankrupt that particular company. Uh, Let me give you practical examples. You would have heard about multinational, reputed financial institutions getting billions and trillions of dollars of fines because they have neglected certain aspects of risk management, right? We have seen it again and again on this, and that is also a cost. Let's say, and how it is going to, so you'll ask, like, how it is going to impact me if you're working in that particular bank or a financial institution and you're fined. The first and foremost is reputational risk. The moment you go out in the market and say that, hey, I'm from this particular company, reputational risk. Are you a shady company? Even though you have such parentage, even though you have been in existence for so many decades, still they will actually view with a doubt, right? Reputational damage is irreversible. It takes a long time to actually build. Second is, that is the money which should have been actually come to you as bonus and salary increments, right? That is gone through fines. So risk management is of paramount importance. Accurate forecast is really, really crucial. That is a second step. So in terms of managing financial risk, AI helps in terms of actually predicting good, correct forecast into as to what is going to happen. When I say focus is not only limited to the business or the profit, you talk about HR as a function. You have to predict what is the kind of requirement you have in the next 1 year, right? You cannot just go out in the market one fine day, oh, I have this vacancy and let me go and actually do that. Forecasting is really, really required for whether it is finance, HR, marketing, IT. You talk about any of the departments, it is required in their area of expertise and their area of operation, right? Financial markets again, they want to be very, very fast because time is of essence. I have a situation right now. I want to respond to it immediately. But the issue is that when you have that time, very, very small time, which is actually available, the kind of decisions which you will be making we can go wrong, right? And that is where AI comes into picture and throws up with you all these forecasts, all these options like this and the trends and what the history have actually said. It is there in front of your eye. You have to just understand that and actually take a decision. Let me give you an example in managing risk. AML guidelines, anti-money laundering is very, very big. We have countries which is actually been penalized by authorities. That is one of the biggest things. So if you are actually working in a financial institution where there is a large amount of transaction, suspicious transaction, or there are multi-million or millions of transactions. How many transactions will be there in a day if you take about a bank? I'm not talking from a branch perspective. I'm talking from the bank perspective. So for a market like India, wherein you are having a retail branch network set up, there will be millions of transactions which is happening, which can be like deposits, which can be transfers, which can be anything for that matter. Now, how will you find out whether this is a good transaction or a bad transaction? A single person or 10 people sitting or 100 people sitting and actually looking at each of those transactions you will not be able to find that. So how will you do that? You have to actually look for suspicious activities. You have certain flags which is there. And you look onto that, and you don't even mind the small cases. You will always look at the large transaction. So let's say example, there is a large transaction which has come from a high risk country or a jurisdiction. Definitely, especially like tax havens, offshore locations. Definitely, that will raise an alarm. Depending on the nationality, if you are going international, it is not only limited to that. It is also you have to look into your nationality also. What kind of nationality you wear? What is the nationality you are having, and where exactly this money is coming from? Today, in I am handling the Citibank relationship for UAE. Citibank is one of those stringent financial institution over here. If you have a sizable chunk coming in, they are going to ask you where this money has come from, even if it is from your own account from some other country. They are going to ask, and they are going to actually ask you the source of that fund. Tell me where exactly you got that. Otherwise, that money is not even like entering into the system, right? AML regulations, AI can actually really help. They will pick up, they will flag, right? Customer retention, loans. That is another example. As far as my book is concerned, in terms of as a bank or a financial institution, I want to actually give out loans. When I dole out loans, but the objective is that they will pay me the principal plus an interest. That is my profit. But if they don't pay, it is going to be delinquent. Then it is a loss for me, right? AI can actually predict the risk of defaulting of loans based on the entire data available. So if I am a person who's actually struggling right now, I have been getting a salary. Just to give a very small example, my salary has been coming X amount every month. Last 2 months, my salary is not hitting the bank account. Bank will check, right? The AI system can actually check, hey, why this salary is not there, which is also like I have actually delayed my loan payments. The bank can approach me saying that, hey, Mahesh, what happened? Is there a problem with your finances right now? Can we sit down? Okay, I will give you relaxation. They'll say, sorry, my salary is gone, or I'm changing jobs, or now this is what the condition is. Bank will say that, okay, no problem. I'll give you 2 more months of non-payment, but you pay from fourth month or fifth month onwards. Is it good for me as an end customer? Yes, bank is taking care of me, right? What is the bank's objective? To make me pay back that loan. They are giving, they can actually have favorable conditions wherein like no, you can actually restart the payment. How it happened? Nobody can actually look at that individually, whether that loan and the salary connection is there or not. But a AI system which is implemented can actually, it is all automatic. System is actually deriving data from that, right? The next big thing in financial sector, this is the application or the role, right? Quantitative trading. So today the world is small. You can, sitting in India, you can actually trade anywhere in the world. You want to trade in US markets, you can do that. You want to trade in any of the other markets, commodities, irrespective of asset classes, irrespective of geographies, you can actually invest, you can trade, you can take calls, right? Now, the reality is that Japan market starts, Nikkei, then it goes on. Each of the markets start opening up, and by the time it reaches US, most of the markets on this side will be closed. So, if you are a person who is very keen in terms of actually making money, you are an investment banker, or you are an investment, wherein you take a decision in terms of increasing the wealth of the of customers or offices, then you have to actually be exposed to all these markets, whether it is currency, whether it is equity, whether it is futures, options, or any of those, or commodities for that matter. Now, how will you do that? You cannot sit 24 hours a day for 5 days a week. You cannot. But today we have systems with, not today, it has been there for some time actually. You have systems which is actually been enabled and authorized to do trades on your behalf. I'll give you an example of one of the companies. One of my friend was working over there. The company's name is called Super Fund in Singapore. What they do is that they are actually into futures and options trading. And unlike the other trading, like a normal investor, we either we do a day trade or we actually invest, right? And when then we wait for the market to go up or go down, depending on the kind of deal which you have actually made. But here, what happens is the margins will be very, very small. So what happens is that the system is already, algorithm is already in place. Customer authorizes, they have a fund. You put that money in that particular fund. That will look at the, when the market opens, the system will analyze. It will do the technical analysis, everything, how the market is going, what is the news, what is happening. So entire thing is actually linked together. And depending on the news, depending on, and they have a vast network available over there. Depending on that, it will start trading. So when Mahesh as an individual will buy it at, let's say example, at 100, and I will wait at least the security to reach, say, let's say 105 for the day, and I will sell it off for to make a 5% rate of return. What they do is that they trade in small margins. 100 becomes 101, and the technical analysis says that it is going to be going down. They sell it off immediately. And when it goes down to 99, again they buy it. So you have, in the single security, you have hundreds of buy and sell which is going to happen over there. And it is not only buy and sell. When I say buy and sell, buy at a lower price, sell at a higher price. It is also the reverse side. I sell at a high price and I also buy at a low price. That is also profit, right? By the end of the day, the profits which is generated by this is huge. Is huge. Is it risky? Definitely. This is more applied to asset classes which has high volatility, is inherent high volatility in nature, right? I mean, they're inherently volatile. But for a person to actually look at it, rather than going to fundamental, they look at real time and the machine makes that decision. Let's say there is a, so we have like now companies over here, including the oil companies. They have in-house trading department. So let's say example, there is an energy, there is an investment company or a team which is actually looking into oil. What they do is that they implement a system wherein it will predict oil prices. They look at the historical data. They will look at the current global scenario and they take calls. So the potential price, everything like now can be actually predicted. So quantitative trading, it is not only about making money or trading. It is also employed by the companies who is working in that particular industry to actually predict what is the kind of inventory which I have to actually do it, and what is the kind of price levels which I should be actually pricing my commodity or my product at this point in time. This is all done by the support of artificial intelligence, right? It basically analyze large chunk of data to consolidate. It analyze large chunk of data and try to make sense just like a human being. Obviously, we have touched upon the personalized banking in terms of financial advice. You are a person who wants to invest. First thing they will be asking is that, okay, what is the kind of risk profile you are having? Everything is online. You can actually just go there, and in the back end, it is not just a program. It is also going to customize for you, and that is where the difference is, right? When it starts customizing, when you speak to me as an individual, I'm talking about, and you have a requirement. I will try to understand your requirement and try to suggest a solution rather than giving all the solutions to you which is available in the market, right? I'll be specific to you, and I will also explain to you why it is important to you. And that is what exactly AI is doing. It is not just a program wherein like you put in all this and the result is going to come in, right? So task automation, chatbot assistance to fraud detection, the role is huge. Mobile banking, most of us are actually doing, right? Mobile banking, internet banking, all those things are already there in place. Okay. Now, it is also about one more thing before we finish off on the banking sector. It is also about your credit worthiness. That is very important, right? Credit is king, and your credit, the CIBIL score. If you talk about in India, each of the jurisdiction have their own worthiness check, which is either through a CIBIL score or some body will be there, which is going to check all your transactions and find out whether you are a good person in terms of giving out credit. Will you repay or have you defaulted, right? And this has implications in terms of applying for a new loan, apply, and that loan is going to be like no. Why it is important is it is affecting us as individuals, as end consumers. I want to build a house, I want to build a home, but I'm not getting loan because my credit worthiness is not that great, right? So all these things can be actually be, and this decision has to be faster, and that is where the systems will come in and give that instant result. Um, Now, AI in insurance, because this I have actually made a separate slide because this is where I can actually give some more inputs in terms of what is happening in my sector also. I have been a banker half the time. I have been with insurance company half the time in the last 23 years. I've taken multiple roles, but what I have seen the drastic change in the last 5 to 10 years is that lot of roles are getting taken away, and it has become faster, it has become more efficient as far as the end result is concerned, but you see less number of people on the floor, right? So the first in insurance is basically the claims processing. It can be automated. You have standard. If you are in a developed economy, especially, that is what I was actually about to tell you also. If you are in a developed economy, you have or for that matter, even in India, you give your Aadhaar number for anything, right? Everything is connected. Your PAN card is connected to your Aadhaar number. Your mobile phone number is connected to your Aadhaar. Everything is connected, right? Whatever activities which you are actually going to do, once you have entered, link that account or that particular thing, it is already monitored. It is already there. The data is available. Whether you want to take it or not, that is a separate issue. But that data is there. So what happens is that in developed economies, everything is, since it is online. A claim happens. Let's say about life insurance case. Let's say example, a person passes away. His death certificate, everything is actually, especially in this country which I am in, immediately everything is actually linked automatically. A person passes away, central bank. It is the Ministry of External Affairs will inform the central bank. Immediately, central bank sends an information to all the banks, and all the accounts are freezed over here in UAE. I'm telling you a different scenario over here. What I'm saying is that all the data is available, everything is online. So you don't have to actually, you have to just give the number so that they can actually retrieve those data from there. We have our own systems in India also wherein it is like that. So claim processing, where exactly is the time going? It is in terms of submission of the documents, required documents, and checking whether those documents are original or is it fraudulent. And then third session is, or the third section of claim processing is dispersing that money to the person, concerned person, right? Now, when you have automated this, customer applies, customer uploads everything, they will check the system and they will immediately release the money. There is no delay at all. You have taken away two things. You have taken away the delay, as well as you have taken away the resources which is required to actually physically go through each of those documents and check out. That's number one. Personalized policies. Today, I'm a person who will be extensively traveling. Obviously, I'm exposed to more risk out in the world, comparing to a person maybe office bound, right? He is sitting. So the risk which we both are having is totally different. So it is not good to actually tax or take money from a person for the risk which he is not exposed to. I'm just giving you a very layman kind of a perspective to understand the concept. So personalized policies is not only that I'm saving on the amount. Obviously, it is also about depending on my life stage, my lifestyle. I can actually tweak around. I can actually go back rather than insurance company says that Mr. Mahesh, this is a box. This is a block. You take this block, keep it with you. We will pay when time comes in. Rather than that, I want a block wherein I can actually put in stuff and actually take out stuff. Example, I want a $10 million cover today, or let's say example 5 crore cover of 5 crore or 10 crore cover today. But at the retirement stage, I don't want 10 crore cover. I want only a 2 crore cover, but I'm more worried about my health. Can I tweak it around? So personalized policies are or the advent of actually AI has actually helped in terms of tweaking these, according to the need of the customer. It is the same plan, but it changes as per your changing circumstances. Underwriting services. Now, this is very technical in nature. Underwriting services is basically for any insurance company. Actuary and underwriters are the two important factors in terms of analyzing and in terms of making profit. Underwriters, it is half of the thing is actually done automated. In my company, 5 years back, we have introduced a system wherein earlier what happens, you fill up a form, you put your entire life history, you put up your all your health data, you give it to the underwriter. Underwriter is experienced in this particular area. They go through it. They will look at your hereditary factors. What is the risk? Where exactly he is traveling? All those things, and they say, okay, Mr. Mahesh, your premium is $100, and that is $100. I accept. If, let's say example, I am going to high risk countries or I am having a health concern, I'm based on my medical report, they said, Mr. Mahesh, normally for a healthy person I will offer 100, but you are not healthy. You have to pay 120 to take up this risk. Now you know what is happening. You can enter everything online, all your health data, everything upload in 2 seconds. Once you submit, backend, the system runs, and immediately the result is given, whether it is accepted or not. In terms of complicated medical cases, it is referred to a underwriter, which is a human being over there. So we have seen 50% approximately reduction in our underwriting staff. They are not recruiting. If somebody is leaving, we are not sending anyone. But if somebody is leaving, we are not recruiting a replacement for them. It is all instantaneous, all online. When we say online, when it's not just that we connect to the internet and we just type in and there is a program which is running over there. It has much more than that in the backend. Insurance operations, all the normal mundane operations are already automated. Coming to the general insurance spectrum, assessing vehicle damage. Earlier, you get into an accident, you have to actually tow that car to a workshop. An assessor or a surveyor will come, take the pictures. He will look into the damages, and then he submits a report to the insurance company. Then they will say that okay, I can pay this much or I will not pay this much, right? And then the work starts. Today, you have insurance companies wherein your policies are online. You take a picture, you take a video, you give it immediately, and by the time the workshop guy comes with a tow car, by the time your car reaches the workshop, your approval is already there in your hand, right? Determining property risk is this area like fire, theft, and all these things are very big, especially in terms of commercial properties. Is that area prone to fire? Is it what is the temperature right now? I mean, all these factors underwriter analyze before giving out pricing, and that is where you are actually having the help of AI over there. Health benefits plans, safe habits. Health benefits is basically it can be tweaked according to the requirement. The customer himself can actually do that, what is required and what is not required. They tell all the details. It is all available over there. Safer habits is like, just to touch upon, today car insurance cost is based on the car value right now. It is not on the driver's efficiency or how he is actually driving on the road. If I'm a safe driver wherein I wear seat belt, I follow all the road signs, all the speed limits, I'm not issued fines, versus a person who is a rash driver, there is no price difference, there is no price advantage, right? But this is like data. You have your smartwatch over there, right? All this is are going to get monitored one way or the other. When you apply for an insurance, your existing history, past year, have you done any claims? All those things are going to be checked upon, and you will have a better pricing than a rash driver, and it will encourage further for safer driving habits. I hope you got the idea over there, right? There will be a differential pricing coming up with the help of AI in insurance policies. Just to touch upon the cybersecurity and fraud detection, this is very big because as a person, as an individual person, I cannot monitor what are the things which is actually happening in a financial institution. AI will help me in terms of finding that pattern and finding those suspicious activities and give attention or give corrective measures to that particular point of contention. Blockchain, obviously, that has been that was a hot cake like 2 3 years back. Blockchain, your crypto is actually based on that, and people are actually using it. But blockchain technology is basically a network of network of units, which is actually chain of data. It allows you to actually do secure transactions, collect and store huge chunk of data, and that is what and you can exchange these assets over a network. And AI and blockchain will actually goes hand in hand, and it is basically that synergical level. They can actually have enhanced security and transparency in the financial world, right? This is about the roles. I want to touch upon India also. India AI environment, what is happening in India? India is building its own sovereign AI. We already developed our deliver now governance solutions like Aadhaar and UPI. UPI has been launched recently in UAE also. So this is called the digital public infrastructure (DPI), and on this only India is trying to actually build upon their AI infrastructure. Now, what is infrastructure? AI infrastructure will involve the software and hardware. We have the second largest talent pool. We have so many startups which is actually coming up. The objective is we are a population of 1.4 billion people, right? We are one of the biggest. We are the biggest in the world by that level, right? If you survey says that if you take two Indians randomly, there is 36% of chance of speaking the same language. That is the kind of diversity which you are actually, it's one third. So in India. And we are lacking in so many things: healthcare, agriculture, translation. Language is a problem, right? And governance, all those things. That is where India wants to actually be in the forefront. Digital India Bill is going to come in. They have already issued directives to the big companies like Meta, Google, and Amazon, and all. And all the non personalized data has to be given, because for this to actually come together, that data is very much of importance. They already have data from other sources. They are going to actually take it from these companies also. What India is doing different from other countries is that we build on government platforms, and then we give it to private users for their own, and they can tweak it and actually use it. That is what they are actually. I've just touched upon what India is actually doing. Okay. Now, most important thing. This is where our interest is going to come in. An IMF analysis says that 40% of the global employment is exposed to AI. This disruption is going to happen in predominantly across the world. It is going to happen, but it is going to be happening in developed economies. So advanced economies are more poised to actually adapt. They already have the systems and processes in place. They can just implement that and increase their productivity, right? Comparing to a emerging market like India or low income countries. So when they say 40 percentage of the employment is actually going to get exposed, which means that what are the requirements from a job employment perspective? That is what we are actually going to look at. So disruption will be there for advanced economies, obviously, and so all the low wage income or automate, which can be automated, or routine things will be actually substituted by AI, right? It is going to create shocks. So from a product and services perspective and from a profitability perspective, it is going to be higher, but you require only less labor in that category. That's number one. It is going to actually go do a counterproductive also. In short term, it is going to actually be really disruptive in the job market, short term, medium term, but long term, it is going to create value for everyone involved, including individuals and companies. Shockwave in terms of non-consumption. Because if you have a job, let's say example, I have a good job wherein the good salary is actually coming in, then I will think about buying a car, right? Or maybe a second car. But if I'm actually worried about my job, will I actually invest in that particular consumption? No. So domestic consumption can actually go low because of the unemployment rates going higher. So the objective is reskilling and upskilling. You have to actually completely be aware of what is happening. Reskilling is wherein, like, no, whatever you have been doing, you can actually start a parallel line wherein you can actually build a new set of skill sets which is going to actually take you to the next level of growth. Or you are doing a particular function, you can actually upskill yourself so that you are at the top of that chain. Job polarization is basically that is the biggest threat for AI, by AI. So what happens when a technology intervention is happening, this automation and the routine mundane jobs, that is only technology. That is like you implement systems and processes wherein it is taken care of. It is okay. But when the middle level management or middle level jobs are considered, they are not neither high neither the high. They require a medium level of skill, and the wage is also medium. This is where this AI is going to actually really disrupt, because instead of a middle person over there, what they are going to do is that they are going to implement a system over there with zero cost. So the only objective is to actually enhance yourself. And the third thing which is going to happen because of this is scale up. Just to give you a perception, IKEA, you everyone knows it's a Swedish company, right? They have started in 1942. They waited 30 years to expand to Europe. Forget, they were there in Sweden. 30 years they waited to expand to Europe. They waited 70 years to get a profit of annual turnover of $42 billion, right? This is what the numbers are. Now, uh, compare that to Alibaba, the Chinese conglomerate. They had 1 million users in first 2 years with 9 million sellers in their platform. And they made in 15 years, you know what is the kind of turnover they made? $700 billion. So scale up is huge. World is your market. It is no more. You are not specified to a locality. By adapting technological innovations in your business and thinking how you can actually improve, this is actually the effect of adopting technology. Now, what it means to you, and that is what the crux of this presentation, right? Everything is fine. We understood what is AI, how it started, how what is the role of AI in each of those sections, specifically to global economy and financial sectors, how it is actually working right now, and what is the impact of on the job. But end of the day, what it means to you as individual. We have actually joined this course with a specific objective in our mind, right? And we always say there are a lot of challenges out in the world, and that is not going to be a new normal. You will not find a day without challenges. It will be there. Please be mentally prepared for that. Challenging environment, when I say, you have to specifically, if you are so keen, each one of us have some sort of affinity towards certain industries. Study more, learn more, read more, interact with people who are there in the industry more. Ask them what is the kind of challenges they face on a day-to-day basis. What is the kind of decisions which are they're actually taking. Now, VUCA, now that is going to be intensified. VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, or complexity and ambiguity. Why it is very important? When you want to take a decision at a managerial level, you have to be very clear in your thoughts in terms of what exactly you are going to do. And if you are ambiguous, you don't have enough data, right? The decision can be wrong. You will be reading the situation in a totally different fashion. So this is going to be intensified. If you're aware that this is the situation, you will be more mindful in terms of actually collecting as much as data for processing and then take a decision. Data driven decision making is the key to everything. Whatever industries, whatever companies which you see today have reached those levels by making those decisions. Should I invest in this market? Should I invest? I'm not talking from a individual perspective. I'm talking from a company perspective. Should I expand my line of business into this? Should I expand into this geography? What are the kind of sectors or which I should be focusing on? All these are all data driven decision making, and this is something which we also will be doing on our daily basis, right? Strategy formulation, that is why you are appointed in that company. When you say strategy, it need not be like now you get into a war room kind of a situation and you sit down and actually formulate strategies. No, it is about you are also thinking about how well you can actually do your job. There is a system of doing your particular job, and historically, this has been done for ages. This has been done like this only. But you can actually think how well I can actually, what can I change so that my productivity is increased, my contribution is increased, my company is actually going to reach new heights. And that is where the next point comes in, out of the box thinking. Out of the box thinking is always there. You have to actually think from a different point of view. But today, not even there is, rather thinking without the box is also required. You should have a 360-degree view. You should feel like everything is possible. Don't limit yourself to your mental ability. You try to reach out to people. You try to actually get as much as data as possible and do a 360-degree view of the issue which you are having. It's a radical thinking basically. It says that thinking without the box is basically you say that anything is possible, right? Amount of trust in AI. So now you know that AI is a integral part of the daily life. It is there in my life, and this is going to help me, or it is going to actually affect me positively, negatively. But they are machines. It can go faulty. So if it stops, are you equipped? Not to the level of what AI has been crunching data and actually do that. Are you equipped to actually take its place and actually deliver at that point in time? So having AI doesn't mean that okay, I will just leave it to the system. I input 1, 2, 3, 4, and the output comes out as XYZ. It is not like that. You have to be really equipped in terms of getting that, and that is where the adaptive skills will come into picture. Upskilling and reskilling will be the key thing. You have to be doing that continuously. Even today, when we are actually talking about any industry you go in, you will be taking certifications, you will be actually learning, you will be actually doing offline and online learnings, right? And you have to actually really get to that point wherein nobody can actually point fingers at you. And this is going to be a continuous process. And prepare for strategic roles. This is exactly what my boss was actually when I asked for a promotion very long time back in my career, in the initial days of my career. My boss said like, I will give you promotion the day when you can do your job well as well as my job. So what he intended was that you have to actually think from a bird's eye view. Like, no, you when you are actually about tackling day-to-day affairs, you will lose the bigger picture because you are so stressed and you are so focused in your task that you have to finish this. This is my task. But if you want to grow, you have to actually think from your management perspective or your boss's perspective, saying that okay, what am I actually contributing? How can I actually do that? And that makes the difference in your career. And always be a learner and don't stop learning. And that is what I want to actually leave you with also in this presentation. Continuous learning and acquisition of new skills will be the key. You are already in a course which is actually going to give you so much of exposure, so much of perception in terms of the world. You are already there, right? You have taken this. Why you have taken MBA is because of that. You will give viewpoints which other people may not see. That vision is what this particular course is going to give you. But if you can actually add extra skills based on the requirements, please go ahead and actually do that. Spend time on that. All right. I wish you all the success in your studies as well as in your career. I'll be more than happy to actually take up questions if any right now. Thank you, guys.
Dear sir, with utmost gratitude, I extend heartfelt thanks to you for sharing your insights on AI's transformative role in economics. We are truly enlightened by your talk on the areas such as rise of AI and its influence, AI technology landscape that you touched upon, especially the global economy. The way you highlighted the points of role of AI in finance and in insurance in specific. Your words have sparked new ideas and also inspired us to embrace the limitless possibilities of AI. Once again, we thank you, sir. Dear audience, it's time to break for tea, arranged at the entrance of Berchmans Institute of Management, and immediately after which, without further wasting any time, we would quickly move on to the respective venues for both professional track and student track paper presentations. Enjoy the day and also wish you all the very best for your programs. Thank you.
guys. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you. Best of luck.